Blackness, keep on. Keep on. Blackness, keep on. Keep on. Blackness.
All right. Hello again, world. This is episode 2 of the My Movie Fix podcast. It's me again, Sterling, aka Sir, aka Sir Waka, aka they call me Sir. It's me, and my guest over here laughing at me. I think he recorded the screen, but I'm gonna let that slide. It's none other than illustrious Amazon best-selling author Stephen Simpson. Stephen Simpson, go ahead and introduce yourself to the world.
Man, I truly appreciate you having me on your podcast, man. I feel special. This is good, man. I'm all about this, the movie scene and what you're doing, man. So my name is Steven. I'm excited to be a part of this podcast. My book, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Steven Simpson, Steven Speaks Life. I'm a motivational speaker. I have a book out called Speech Therapy. It's about my life going through speech therapy and struggling with a disability to talk. But now I speak to thousands of youth and just want to continue to share my message, man. So anytime I have a moment to fellowship with my good brother and talk, chat it up, I'm always honored.
Indeed. Man, it's humble. If you go on Amazon right now, not even like in the book section. If you just type speech therapy in Amazon, I think he's gonna be like number 6 result or something like that.
Yeah, man.
It's a humble man. It's a humble man. As speech therapy on Amazon. But yeah. So as you can see in the title, this week's movie is Waterworld. 1995? Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I think it's 1995.
July 28th, 1995. So we was getting a podcast back up and running. We was trying to discuss, what movie we was going to do, whether we was going to do a newer movie or just a classic. And Steven said, Waterworld. He said it was one or two. It was Waterworld or something. It was 1 or 2 options. But he was ready. He said Waterworld is my jam, and that's me too.
Yeah.
I think Waterworld is one of those. People talk about it as a flop, a universal flop, one of the biggest, bust in movie history. Blah blah blah. People don't respect it.
No.
But me and Steven, one of the 2 people in the world that think it's a classic. It's a fantastic movie. So you're gonna hear our thoughts about that in a little bit, So I'm glad to do Waterworld with my man here.
Yep.
But format of the show, again, we start with a little bit of movie news. We recommend something new to you. We'll get to that full review of Waterworld, and then we're gonna give you a little send off. So without further ado, you're our guest. Go ahead and start off. What's our movie news of the week? What's your favorite movie news?
Man, the movie news this week is dealing with a horror movie, like suspense. Quiet Place 2.
Okay.
Now, I'm a horror movie guy. All right.
Yeah.
The action is cool, but if I can get a good horror movie once a week, man, that's what it's about. So Quiet Place 2 is the movie news, which I've been following ever since it came out like 3 years ago, man. And the pandemic shut it down, obviously, but now it's finally going to be released May 28th.
May 28th.
So,
I think they just had a story. It was John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, the stars. I think they were battling over payout. I guess how much money they was making. So Quiet Place. I think the first one was a little indie, we're just gonna make this a passion project, see how it does. But people latched on to it, made a whole bunch of money. Now they doing a sequel, and now they said, what can I make? I'm not doing this for indie money no more. So we're talking about Paramount. So I think that's news this week. Is they trying to. Oh yeah, I guess because it's going straight to Paramount Plus, so it's not going to be just the how much money it makes at the box office. So they negotiating the deal now on how much they're going to make. I guess how does that work now? If a streaming service just ups and buys it, because you're not going to make $200 million, $1 million, whatever it is at the box office anymore, because nobody's going to the theaters to see this kind of stuff. So if before you make a movie for $40-50 million and it makes 80-90 at the box office or whatever, you get a piece of that, and that's how you know the movie was successful. But nowadays, if all these streaming services, somebody just buys it, how does that work? So I guess that's the biggest thing now with movie stars trying to figure out how they're making money off of movies now.
Yep. Now, Sterling, I want to make sure we're on the same page. Now, this Quiet Place, with Emily Blunt,
Yeah.
and it's with it's with the family that's being the creatures.
Yeah. This is the sequel.
Yeah.
I don't even. I'm anti-spoiler, so I didn't do no research on it. But I don't even know how John Krasinski is going to be in it because spoiler alert, he died in the first one. So I don't know if he's just directing or I forgive me, audience. I hadn't even looked it up. I don't know how he's going to be in it or how he's negotiating over a payday. I think.
Yeah. So this is what I heard. Now I haven't seen it, obviously the second one, but they're going to take you back. They're going to give us history about how this started.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be in it just for the history part.
Yeah.
Which is the beginning. You see him walking in the grocery store like everything is normal.
Hey, again, I ain't seen the trailers. I ain't watched none of it. You giving me spoilers right now.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, I need big details. I need the overview. You can't be giving me the details.
Got you.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a big horror guy myself. I don't go looking for scary movies because I don't know. It's for me, it's either jump scares where they just try to do something loud to make you jump, or it's like devil stuff, and that's how they get the scary part. So I don't really, horror movies not really my jam, but Quiet Place 1 was pretty good, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the new one.
Yeah, I got to check it out at the Dollar Movie, man. It was the best dollar. I'm like, man, winning.
Oh yeah, can't beat that. Okay, my movie news. I think I'm gonna pick Drax, Dave Bautista, the star, was the actor that plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I guess I know he been in not the news, but he been in the movie news a lot recently, talking, saying he don't really enjoy it. Just he didn't had animosity with Marvel. I know he was kind of going to the bat for James Gunn a while back, but for whatever reason, he says Drax is not going to die in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but he said he should be recast because I guess he's just done. I guess he's had his fill. Honestly, he was. I guess this is the part that kind of made him because nobody really knew what to expect with Dave Bautista playing Drax, but he's real funny. He's perfect. I don't know how they're going to recast him because I think he's just perfect for this role. But I guess he's had his fill of Marvel, and he said he's done. So he said, "Yo, he's not gonna die, but you're gonna have to recast me." So
really,
yeah.
I heard he talk about his comparison with Marvel and that they was trying to compare him to Thanos in some ways, his strength, and a lot of people was kind of not happy about that comparison. But that's something that was brought up during this new casting of his movie.
Yeah, I think in the comics he was like genetically designed to beat Thanos or something, so he should have been a bigger deal. But I don't know. However, he works in the movie. I didn't read the comics, but he works for me as a character in the movie. But it's gonna be it's gonna be sad to see him get replaced or however they figure that out. But yeah, he said he's done. I guess. He's a real good actor. He's all the stuff he's done. What's the zombie movie he's about to be in? Zack Snyder's zombie movie, Army of the Dead. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in that, and he's just gonna be a big action star now, I guess. But I guess he's had his fill of the Marvel world. But
he came a long way. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I used to didn't like him too much, but just like a John Cena, from that world of the wrestling, Dwayne Johnson, I think he had done really well. He picked his roles really accurate to kind of fit what he's good at.
It's weird comparing them. I think they the biggest three: John Cena, Dave Bautista, and The Rock. Obviously The Rock is The Rock. He don't make a movie for less than $100 million or whatever it is. But John Cena, he's more. I think he found his role kind of more comedic. He does a lot of comedy type roles. He always get naked in movies, jumping around and being silly and stuff. So he defined his kind of lane as a comedian, not comedian, but a comedic actor. And Dave Bautista, he's more I think he does more like serious action roles. I mean, he's still funny, you know. Obviously,
Yeah.
Drax is very funny, but his other movies, he's more serious, you know, and a little bit more dramatic. And you know, The Rock is, you know, big, super swole action star. The Rock, you know.
So he's
Yeah,
like the Jason Statham. That's why I kind of compare him to.
you know.
He can be a
Yeah,
little
yes,
silly, and then he can be serious. You know, he jump off the planes and he do the actions, double the stunts, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't know about him is that he actually do a lot of the stunts himself because of his background. He said this. He said he trained for the stunts, so he won't have a double as much as
yeah,
least possible, which I think is cool.
yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, all right. That's the movie news of the week.
Movie news.
Moving on. I know I got a recommendation, so I saw something recently that I want to share with the folks. So, what's your recommendation, guest? Start us off.
Oh man, you know something that I've been really digging is Snowfall.
Snowfall. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just me going back to some of my Scarface days, New Jack City. It's in me. So when I see a good movie that have a good script that's really accurate far as the reason why this stuff happens in America and different neighborhoods, I always vibe with. So Snowfall is one of those TV shows I suggest you watch if you like that kind of suspense drama,
Yeah.
dealing with, you know, some of the drugs cartel that's been happening for years in and out Colombia and LA. Good
Yeah.
actors,
You all
by
caught
the way.
up?
Oh yeah. Good actors, by the way, man. Have some really good guys in there, young actors, but really crushing the game.
Yeah. So I saw season 1. You know, I thought it was good. I started, I think, 3-4 episodes into season 2, but it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't really sink its teeth in me to where I got to keep coming back every week. You know, but I
Mm,
do think it's, you know, it's a good show. You know, I really like some aspects of it. It just, I don't know. It's not hooking me. You know, like but
mm,
I never. It feels a lot like, you know, Power and some, you know, them type of shows. And you know, it's not The Wire. I put it like that. You know, it's a
yeah,
good show. It keep you come back and watching, but it's not great to me. You know, and I
got you.
feel like what's his name? Damson Idris. I think that's his name.
Damson and Idris.
Idris. Okay, yeah. He really reminds, like, he's doing his best. He's doing his best Denzel impersonation. You know, sometimes I see him. He just hardcore, like, doing his best Denzel impersonation. I think
Mm,
the most famous, not famous, but you know, I think the most shared clip is him in the car, you know, talking about, oh boy, wait, I built this brick from brick. And the whole time I'm watching, it's like, oh, he's trying to be Denzel. He is trying to be Denzel, you know. I ain't knocking him, you know, he did a good job. He's a great actor, but I was like, he really giving me Denzel vibes, you know. But
yeah,
yeah,
I give him his
so
credit,
you,
man. I give him his credit because he's from what, Britain.
yeah, he from the UK or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
accent.
I'm American. It's all everything overseas. It's all just UK to me. You know,
Yeah, the
it's
UK.
other. It's them. It's them. It's English. You know. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I like John Singleton.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always like his
Rest in
writing.
peace.
Yeah, man, John
Yeah.
Singleton. I always kept up with all his writing. So this is kind of one I've been on this, this roller coaster this long. I'm gonna finish it out.
hmm Yeah. I feel like it's gonna get. You know, it'll be good if I keep watching. It's just, you know, so many shows out there, and I know I feel like I kind of know what I'm gonna get. You know, it's gonna
Mhm.
be some trials and tribulations, and they're gonna come up, and they're gonna get the bad guy, and the bad guy gonna get on it. You know, it's just I kind of feel like I know what I'm gonna get, but I probably one of these days I'm gonna sit down and keep catching up on it. But yeah, it's
There
a
you
good
go.
show. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a fantasy dude. You know, so this kind of more my speed. Shadow and Bone on Netflix. It's like this new. I guess it's Netflix's YA. It's their new. It's the next show they're trying to get big, like Game of Thrones. It look real expensive, whatever it is, but it's called Shadow and Bone. It's on Netflix, and
Yep.
that's my speed. That's me all the way up and down. I think 30 minutes of the first episode. I'm like, yep, this is when I'm finishing. I'm binging this whole thing. You know, it's just
Mm,
see me. I like the kind of realistic elements. I like the the love story kind of elements where two people fall in love, and I like the magic, and it's like dragon type creatures. It's me up and down. It's got my name written all over it. I binged the whole first season in like 3 days. I just finished it up, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. I hope they make a season 2 and season 3. This my jam. It's basically a hero's journey type story about a girl who she's the chosen one or whatever. She got the magical powers, and it's a magical fantasy world, and she got to defeat the bad guy and all that kind of stuff. You kind of know what you're gonna get, but that's my jam. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. It's funny. It's got romance. It's got superpowers, and that's me. That's my jam. So
Yeah, when I see stuff like that, that's related to Game of Thrones, man, I kind of hesitate to even watch it because Game of Thrones broke my heart in pieces.
oh
And
yeah,
it's hard to put yourself out there, especially with Netflix. When you see season 1 of a show, you're like, is it going to come back? Are they going to pick it up?
yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now with shows. But it's on my actual watch list or whatever that thing is, like watch list on Netflix.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it used to be the queue, whatever it is now. Yeah, the watch list.
It's 1,000 movies come on that thing a day. So I'm like, okay, it's a watch list. I'm gonna watch it.
That's the scary thing. I watch what I like, so I just don't binge shows like you're saying with Snowfall, but it's like so many people love shows on Netflix that, next thing you find out it's canceled. So I don't even get into them because I know I ain't gonna get no season 2. But from what I understand, Shadow and Bone it's like they're tent pole, or they're big, they trying to put some money behind it, and they're trying to push it to get people to subscribe to Netflix. And I'm going to be one of them people. If they got another season, I'm going to keep subscribing, so.
Oh man.
Yeah. They got me with this one.
Now, Sterling, I'm just going to put this out now. I gave you Snowfall. Now I'm going to give you one more, a flip side, because I love to cook.
All
and
right.
I think anytime I have the opportunity, I want to give people this one. Like, it's this show on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil.
And it's I think I heard of this one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man. So it's a cooking adventure. So it's like if you on Food Network, about traveling to different destinations, and it's a guy, Phil. He's traveling around the world trying out the best cuisine, but it's all family related. So he's going to these spots, man, that's kind of underdogs. And it just shows you that the food that's in America is like how much of it is taken from these different places in the world, Cuba, he's go to China, Africa, different parts, Puerto Rico. Just it's great, man, because he's always put himself in their culture, in their shoes. And he just really learned from it. So the cooking, if you want to learn how to cook different cuisines and make stuff simple, check out Somebody Feed Phil. And the best part is that at the end of it, he always spent time with his parents, which I think is great. His parents are old. His mom just passed not too long ago, but he always end the show with a video, a FaceTime conference call with them, man. So yeah, I think it's cool, man. So Somebody Feed Phil, if you love like the whole diners, drive-in and dives kind of type feel, check it out.
Yeah, I just added it to my my Netflix queue, so I'm gonna check it out one of these days. You ain't telling people you was a chef too. You let that slip by. You ain't tell you a certified personal chef. I've been to his house. First time I went over, he had some biscuits. You're a chef. See, me, when I cook biscuits, I put it in a little bowl and I put it like on a cutting board or something like that. Stephen wiped his counter down, sanitized, and just boom, making biscuits right on the counter. I said, oh, he a professional. I knew I was in trouble when I seen that. He a professional. Yeah. That's Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. So check that out. Like I said, I added it to my list, so I'm definitely going to check. He looked like, looking at it kind of give me that Anthony Bourdain kind of vibe. Did you watch that?
Oh yeah, man. But just like that, bro. But he's way goofy. He's a plum fool with it. He's goofy with it. So you're gonna laugh the entire time.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. Okay. All right, that's our recommendation. So it's time. Let's get into full review. Give people what they've been waiting for. So without further ado, let's get into our review of Waterworld.
The polar ice caps have melted, and the Earth lies beneath a watery grave. Those who survived have adapted to a new world.
What did you see out there in your 15 lunars?
Such as?
An end? An end to all this water?
You're asking the wrong person.
Pure dirt.
So what's the word? We trading or not?
And the human dream is the search for a mythical place called dry land.
It doesn't exist!
How can you be sure?
Because I sailed farther than most have dreamed. I've never seen it.
All right. That was from the trailer for 1995's Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner, Jeanine Tripplehorn, sorry if I messed up her name, Dennis Hopper, Tina Majorino, and Michael Jeter. So I know a lot of people didn't like this. We love it. So Stephen, tell me why you liked Waterworld.
Man, Waterworld is one of those movies that take you on an adventure. And it's very simple in the way he's doing it, but it's a world, I feel like it's a world that could really exist in a lot of ways. So you think about this whole movie, this whole scenery is taking place on the ocean, but you realize how much things happen on the ocean, far as the way you survive, the way you get your food, the way you build your so-called, your boat, the way you battle. Man, they beefing over territory. Like, that's Waterworld. They beefing over, like, this is my water, homie. I'm like, on what side, the south or the north? They like Bloods and Crips, low key. It's Republicans and Democrats, man. And it's like they have names, smokers, and it's a whole movie. And the thing is, it's one scenery that's in the ocean, but it keeps you going. So if you like that kind of movie that dealing with adventure, and you okay with looking at the water, because the water is not the focus. Now, my wife, she was like, I don't want to watch them on the water. It's like, it's not even that. It's about this adventure to somehow get off of this ocean platform, which for them, it's like, we have to get off the ocean because it's a place called land. Now,
Dry land.
Sterling know that they don't know if land exists, but they know it's out there. And I just think about today, we continue to search for something. We don't know it's out there, but we have heard stories of a better place, things you can do. And that's kind of like my kind of little bit of the take on it, what I got.
Yeah. See, I never watched Mad Max. I never saw any of them. I think Mad Max Fury Road was the first Mad Max movie I ever saw. So I didn't have that, ingrained. This was really my Mad Max, and after I saw it, I kind of did the research, and I see how it pretty much is very much based on Mad Max. They knew they was copying it when they made it, but for me, I mean, for everything people said about Mad Max Fury Road, that applies to this movie. It's just made 30 years beforehand, so it's, just looking at it is absolutely beautiful when it comes on. I got a 4K TV. I'm watching it. It was made in 1995, but this movie looks beautiful. The water's beautiful. Just the way everything's filmed, it looks very, post-apocalyptic, but on water. Like, even that premise, who comes up with that, So I understand that they were ripping off Mad Max, but this is on par with Mad Max Fury Road for me personally. The action is intense. The story is. I know I was reading some reviews from back then. They said that the story wasn't emotional enough, or that everything didn't connect, and people were kind of one note or whatever. But I don't know. Everything really connected for me personally. I just, like I said, I like the action. I like the world building. I put it like that. I mean, it is a little weird. I give the haters their credit for this one, because basically the entire world is water. Besides, spoiler alert, at the end, there's a little piece that's not. But
yeah,
it's weird how they keep running to each other, and you keep, you bump into people, and it's like the ocean's big. You shouldn't hardly ever meet nobody, as big as the ocean. It's like running into somebody in space. I do give a knock for that, but like I said, the world building, you understand the logistics of how the world works, how the people work, how the society runs. That's a whole lot of world building to do in 2 hours. And what really the first like 30 minutes, you kind of get it. You get the vibe.
Yep.
It starts off, how Mad Max Fury Road starts off with Mad Max, stomping on a lizard. This one starts off with him peeing in a bottle, then running it through a filter, then drinking that water down. So it's like
Yep.
you get that this is post apocalyptic when you're watching it. But I don't know. It hooked me from minute one. I was just always hooked on Kevin Costner's character. I really felt like I got him. I knew what he was going through. I knew how he was changing as a person as the movie went on. So just kind of, no spoilers, but just kind of high notes. It's a post-apocalyptic world. The ice caps have melted, which raised the sea level. And it's been a few hundred years. So the people don't even remember that it used to be on land. Everything is boats and ships and, barges and big plastic hunks that people just kind of have built together of metal and built a community around. So that's kind of the world, so I don't know, like I said, I really felt the world building. The story hooked me, and I don't get why people hated on this as much as they did. I understand, from the backstory, it was supposed to be like $100 million movie, which was big, but not crazy. But
Yeah.
because of the way the sets were made, and I think they had like a hurricane to knock one of the sets down, so they had to rebuild, and it ended up being I had this written down, $172 million in 1995 money to make this movie. So it just cost so much to make. And then the reviews started trickling out. People were, the first thing they're thinking about is how much it costs. And then they were, the hating, the story's not that good. It's not for $172 million. This movie must be amazing, blah, blah, blah. So they kind of hated on it. And then that's why it kind of was seen as a flop before it even got a chance to really get started.
Yeah.
It still made its money. Worldwide, it was $264 million. So it made its money back. I think initially it didn't, but with HBO and VHS sales and all that kind of stuff, it eventually became profitable. But I don't know, like I said, it wasn't a flop. The story's good, the action's good. It was always memorable to me and to people like you that really is stuck with. So, I think it's unfair, the history that this movie has, people kind of hating on it, thinking of it as a flop.
Now, you have to at least tell the people this, Sterling, is that my man Kevin Costner in this movie, he adapted. That's one thing I like. He adapted to the ocean. So for the world, he was a mutant, right? Because they had like mutants, and I think some people didn't like that aspect of like mutations. But he adapted to the ocean by developing a certain type of skill, and I ain't gonna give it away because I want you guys to go watch it. But he adapted to the ocean, and he could swim for hours and hours, basically. Holding his breath. So I like that aspect of it too. And now this is what I say. This movie is, if you like Riddick, with Vin Diesel when he was on a planet and he fought the creatures, but the whole entire time he was on a planet, it was dealing with climate change and how the world goes from night to dark. If you like that, then you like Waterworld. Now, Mad Max, it had a lot more action in it, far as the guns and robbers and pop and shoots. Now that's different. Now this is not so much. This is actually about seeking something more than the ocean, which I like. The whole time they was talking about going to a different place and trying to get there. So Waterworld is a lot more adventure, and like Sterling said, the water. If you watch it on your 4K TV, if you like that player made like Sterling is, you got the 4K. You be like, this ocean is beautiful, and man, that's Waterworld is a classic. It's just one of those movies that you can sit down, press play, and you just intrigued by what's going on and by the smokers, about how he built his boat. Oh man, I ain't gonna talk about the boat. He had a boat, and I ain't gonna spoil it for you guys. He had a boat that was so player made. It was like a Lamborghini. That thing
Very
had
true. Yeah.
doors, man, suicide doors on it. It was player made. Y'all have to check it out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get the spoilers to really kind of go into it. So just, I mean, really before we deep dive, I mean, let me just say one last thing. Like I said, it really can see what they were going for. You know, they were trying to the message they were trying to send about environmental impacts, and you know, they were really kind of being heavy handed with the preaching. But I mean, the movie was great. I really enjoyed it. You know, I think I actually have seen some retrospectives or whatever, people that wrote articles recently saying that we don't appreciate, you know, Waterworld like I should. So I think it is making a comeback. And like I said, if you enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road, I definitely think you need to go back and watch this because you're gonna like it. But yeah, so before we get to spoilers, any other, you know, any last thoughts you got to say before we get to spoilers?
No, I think we got it. I think it's kind of in a nutshell, Waterworld. You get what the title. This is one movie that the title kind of hits dead on, like Waterworld. You best believe it's gonna have water in it. So don't get caught
Yeah,
up. Don't get caught off guard. Like, oh, I didn't know it had water. Yep, it was a lot of water. The whole movie is based
yeah.
off of water.
It's some titles are metaphors where you got to think and understand what it means. Now, this is
Yeah.
Waterworld. It's about a world covered in water. The end. Yeah, but all right, going forward past this point, spoilers.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
That's my little spoiler bubble for the spoilers. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I'm gonna use that going forward. But yeah, just to kind of get to we're in spoiler section now. So yeah, just to kind of go into more what you were saying, probably like the first 30 minutes to kind of you find out that he has gills. You know, he's a mutant. So actually in that scene, they kind of explain, they kind of set up how that happens. You know, apparently, you know, you only got so many people. So if everybody's sleeping with everybody, you know, a couple generations down, people start to get a little weird, you know. But
Yeah.
so I'm guessing he was one of the products of inbreeding, and he happened to grow gills, and you know, in a world full of water, that's a very beneficial skill to have, you know. So that's how he was making his money. He'll dive deep and he'll get stuff that nobody else can get because can't nobody else, you know, go down there like him. And you know, so, and I really like I said, the messages that they were trying to preach with this, you know, about, you know, even in 1995, they were talking about the ice caps melting and the damage that can cause. And even to this day, that's what we still talking about because ain't no politicians ain't did nothing about it. We still, you know, they still gonna melt. And, you know, this is a future documentary, you know, so we saving this in our memories for our kids so they can understand how to survive in Waterworld. But, you know, I really, you know, with all everybody on the, you know, the bad people ship was smoking nonstop. They were chain smoking and using a whole lot of oil. And, you know, so you really get what they were trying to say with the environmental message. But, you know, I feel like that was just kind of a piece of it. You know, that didn't water down the romantic portions and the, you know, the action story. Nothing was too heavy handed, but yeah, you kind of felt what they was going for with their messages with this movie.
Yeah, so and another thing is when you watch it, you realize that how they made their money in a sense, right? Because they had chips. It wasn't really it wasn't money. They had chips, and so they had chips that was made out of it looked like clams, maybe seashells, and they would trade, and you would trade how to get water. You would trade for labor. You would trade for stuff off of your boats. So if your boat wasn't legit, you would be over here starving. And the thing about it is that they was basically circling around the ocean because at the end, this spoiler alert, they did find dry land. And I don't ever think like I was thinking about it. I don't believe they was really lost. I think they were just going the wrong direction. It's like
Yeah,
I don't know. They was really lost. I think they was just like, man, we didn't know what south or west was, or you know, north, because that island that they found at the end, I'm like, bro, this is pretty big. Like,
yeah, that's when you start kind of, you know, thinking about the movie, that the logic does kind of fall apart a little bit. You know, just if you sail for what I don't know, they was on a hot air balloon for like 10 days or something like that. So if you sail for 10 days in this direction, you're gonna hit a big, you know, big land mass. And I just, you know, it's one of them things like nobody did that, you know, ever, ever. Nobody just, you know, went exploring, you know. So I don't know. It's one of them things where you just kind of got to go with the logic of the movie, because it's like I was talking about earlier. Everybody keep running into each other. I feel like it's like a 10 square miles is Waterworld. I feel like if you just go, like when they was trying to get away from everybody, if they just keep going straight, you got they can't catch up. But it's just one of them things where even though it's a water world, quote unquote, everybody keep running into each other. Everybody everybody each other. Like when he ran across that wanderer, as they say, I guess the wanderers are people that just go out in their boats and sail and run into strangers until they come to the next port and try to trade up for something to keep survive. I don't know. Logistically, I don't know how these humans have survived this long, but that's another point. But yeah, so he ran into that one wanderer. He's like, I recognize the boat, I don't recognize you, which basically means that he's seen that boat with somebody else, and that other person either had to die or whatever, or you had to kill them to take over their boat. So it's like, I mean, on the whole ocean, how you run into a boat you recognize? But it can't. I don't know. Is it thousands of wanderers? Is it like 15 of them? How big is this space? All these questions. Once you start thinking about it, get a little, But I ain't focusing on them questions. I'm just enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the story being told. I ain't gonna think too deep on it because it's gonna start falling apart. the deeper you get into it,
And another thing is that I remember the young lady that was on the boat with him now, she was talking about the creatures beneath the sea. And
are you talking about the child?
the child.
Okay.
She was afraid. She was afraid because of the creatures beneath the sea. And actually, what you see is that in the movies that they had oversized fishes or big old creatures. I'm like, so it's really going back to kind of the prehistoric days. I was thinking like they had some moments in there, and that he caught a big fish that was huge, like that ate him up, that swallowed him. I'm like, houseway. And when it ate him, he like just bust through it. I'm like, but really? And then they like ate off of it for like, I guess, who knows, a week, 2 weeks. But it was like moments like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if y'all people can be just living on this ocean with these creatures this big, because reality, that creature could eat your boat. I mean, you just looking at them like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real. But like you said, Sterling, I was like, that's a good scene, though. That's a real good scene.
Yeah, well, he basically used himself as bait, and once the fish caught him, he killed the fish. It's like, so I ain't worried about facts. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here about realism. I just thought that was cool to watch, and he the Superman of the ocean. He can kill the fish, and they can eat. And that's all. I got my enjoyment out of that. Like I said, I mean, once you start any movie, once you start taking it apart a little bit too much, you're gonna find some flaws. But like I say, overall it's enjoyable. I don't think we talked about the women too much in this. Helen, Jan Triplehorn. I went to go look it up on IMDb, and her name is like almost at the bottom of the list. It's like, because even though she was one of the main characters, women didn't really have a whole lot to do in this movie. So I guess that's why she's one of the last billed. But yeah, Helen and Enola. Yeah. So they, it's one of them. I think it was about 30 minutes into the movie is when they got on the boat with him, and you knew kind of what the movie was going to be. He was going to be antagonistic and not like them, but they was going to grow on him. And, I think I really like those characters in it. It's one of those, the tale as old as time, as they say, where, the little kid get on your nerves, but eventually you just love the kid so much. And, so I don't know. They didn't have, I mean, I feel like I say they didn't have much to do, but you really understood them as characters. I don't really know their backstory. I don't know how that little girl, apparently her parents put her on a little boat, a little ship, just a pile of dirt and a baby, and she somehow made it all the way over there. And, again, if you think about it too much, it's going to fall apart. She's basically Moses of the ocean. They put the little baby on the boat with some dirt, and she made it and found her way home or whatever. But, so that's a little Moses story. But,
yeah, because
so it's just,
she was carrying around this music box, this music box around, and it played this little melody like do 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 do. Every time you open it, it was like a music box, and At the end, when they came back to the island, when they got to the island with dry land, she went in there in a little hut, and there were bones. It was two people that was holding hands. They was dead. It was bones, and she said, "I'm home."
Yeah. No, the music box was there. Yeah, she didn't have the
Oh
music
yeah, yeah,
box with her till she went back. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, I guess that's her, I guess she remembers it from when she was a baby playing with the music box. I don't have memories that go that far back. I ain't gonna lie to you, but
Yeah,
I guess she remembered the music box, so she know, I'm back where I came from or whatever. So I,
the music box
yeah.
had me. The music box had me kind of. It's like, you remember this? Like, and I
Yeah.
guess
Like I
if
said,
you're a baby, I'm.
and like they put the tattoo on the baby's back, like they gave the baby a tattoo. And
Yeah,
then she grew up, I guess she was what, like 5, 6, something like that. And the tattoo didn't look weird or nothing because it was done on a baby's back and it has grown and stretched. I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
it
The
was
more
a
I
clean
talk about
tattoo
it,
though.
yeah,
That
yeah.
tattoo was clean too. It was like, ooh, they used 3 different colors on your back.
Yeah. So I mean, the more I talk about it, the more it kind of falls apart a little bit. But like I said, I mean, I'm gonna stop complaining because I really did enjoy the movie. I did have fun with it, and like I said, all the stuff I'm complaining about now is more just like nitpicks. When you
Mhm.
watching the movie about that too hard, it really just, I don't know. I feel like it's underappreciated. I really enjoyed watching it as I'm watching it. Like I said, the stuff I'm doing now after I have done seeing it and start thinking about the little nitty gritties and how that doesn't work and this doesn't work, it kind of falls apart here and there. Yeah, but while you watching the movie, like I said, if you want to take apart Mad Max Fury Road, you can do that too. How Morton Joe, how that stuff don't really make a whole lot of sense, but
Mhm.
it was still widely regarded as the best movie that came out that year. So, like I said,
Mhm.
I'm not going to complain about the logic of a post-apocalyptic world and how that works. I enjoyed watching it. It was beautiful to watch. The story was good. I liked the little love story, how she fell in, she hated him at first because he was a mutant, but kind of, fell for him towards the end. And it had romance, it had action, it had world building.
Yep.
What more do you want? I really enjoyed it. It was pretty to look at. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Now,
So
one thing is that even when you guys watch it, I thought about this just now as we talking. I'm like, man, they never had any hurricanes. Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was no bad weather because y'all boats was like chilling. It was like chilling. So I'm thinking like, did y'all
yeah,
ever encounter any bad weather? And that's something else that never was brought up. But I'm like, how y'all surviving? Did hurricanes come through here? Who
yeah.
knows?
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of question marks when
Unknown.
you start thinking too deep. I mean, at the end of the day, I say I recommend this movie. What about you? Would you recommend people watch it?
Oh man, today, like tomorrow, like check it out. It's a press play movie. I mean, like you get what we just said. Don't you push play, and you're going to be like, oh man, this is exactly what they was talking about. The Waterworld,
Yeah, indeed.
Water World. They on the water looking for another world.
Yeah,
Waterworld is a movie though, man. I'm still trying to have my
indeed.
wife to watch it. She's refusing to, but one day I'm gonna catch her. I'm just gonna
And
put it on there, and she'll be like, "Oh, I watched it. It's only what, an hour and 45 minutes."
hold on, a little longer than that. What is it? 2 hours 15. Yes, it's a little longer than that, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yep, that's what it
yeah.
says.
Ain't too bad. But no, I enjoyed it. So, like I said, we both definitely recommend you watch Waterworld. It's not on Netflix anymore, but it's on Peacock right now. If you got Cinemax, you can watch it, or you can rent it on Amazon Prime or Google Play, all that kind of stuff. $3.99. It's a $4 movie. I'll tell you that it's worth $4. I believe that. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of our episode. We're wrapping up now. Before we get to our send-offs, where can people find you and your work, Stephen?
Yeah, man. People can find me on Instagram as Steven Speaks Life. You can find my website is www.stevenspeakslife.com, and you can check out my book there, all my work I do with the youth in DFW, international speaking, just giving back and pouring to our youth. I believe, man, this world it becomes better by providing the resources and tools for our youth. We need new leaders and we need to start building our new leaders up now. So that's what I'm doing day in and day out, providing resources, letting the youth know that, their life matter and they don't have to have all these fancy things that they see on social media to do amazing things. So you can check me out on my website, www.stevenspeakslife.com, on Instagram. So that's why I do most of my posting and stuff, man. I definitely love to stay in touch with you guys. Hit me up on any one of those sites and we'll definitely talk and stay in touch if you guys need anything.
Fantastic. You can obviously check out this book. That's going to be Speech Therapy. Find it on Amazon, find it on Audible, wherever you can find books, you can find Speech Therapy. And me, just follow me on Twitter at MyMovieFixPod. That's where I'll be at. And I'll be dropping new episodes there. You can follow me, you can chat, or if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to email me, mymoviefixpod@gmail.com. All right, now for your send-off, basically just a little piece of joy you want to drop into the world. What you got for the people, Stephen?
I'm gonna drop my book because it's. I'm gonna tell you two things real quick. First of all, I'm a music guy, so if you're looking for good music, because during this time, music has helped me get through it. I love listening to music. At late night when I'm up instead of watching TV, I'm jamming some music. So Spotify, I'm not sure this new, but they have this new little playlist created by somebody that with a amazing brain created a playlist called Lowrider Classics. And I told my wife, I have to tell the people Lowrider Classics. And it's with all the throwbacks. I mean, like the 80s, you have, all the Earth, Wind, and Fire. It goes into a little 90s too. You have some Run DMC. It's all kinds of stuff, but it's all jamming music. It's no fluff, no slow music, just low ride music. So if you're looking for some music to kind of clean to, a workout to, drive to, man, low rider music. So I've been telling people about this. I'm like, y'all need to check out this playlist.
Low rider.
That's Low Rider Classics. My fault. Low Rider Classics.
Low Rider Classics on Spotify.
It got some Ron Isley on there. I'm like, ooh, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm like, you better stop.
Indeed, that's Low Rider Classics on Spotify. You say you had two of them?
Yeah, and the one thing, this is for my parents, any of my educators, anybody. Please check out my book, Speech Therapy. It's an easy read. It's a quick read. It's on Audible as well. I want to share that with you guys, and I want to share my stories so somebody else be willing to share their stories, because I think that's how we continue to learn, is from each other's stories. My whole book is about overcoming obstacles and knowing that you are just fine, knowing that you don't have to be this person that other people want you to be, understanding your gifts, understanding that this world needs you. And so that's kind of one of the things I want to share with you guys. And also, it's cheap. I mean, I ain't charge you up. It ain't $20. It's $10. Get it on Amazon. It'll be at your door. If you don't like to read it, get on Audible. All right.
Absolutely. I own it on paperback and I own it on Audible. I got you. And they definitely recommend it for the people. And for me, my recommendation, it's actually another podcast of a guest we're going to have on in a few weeks. It's called the Culture and Legacy Podcast by Matthew Reed. He's, like I say, he's going to be a guest we're going to have on in a few weeks. And the podcast started off kind of like interviewing different people and kind of getting their thoughts on, legacy and what their businesses, what they're building, and kind of what they're going to leave behind for their kids, and kind of, legacy and what are you doing in the world? How are you leaving your impact or whatever? But he actually took a break for a little while. I hit him up, like, hey, what's going on? He's just kind of keeping in touch, because at the same time, he had him doing his podcast was motivation for me to kind of start doing this back up. So, I check him on, and we was kind of each other's accountability partner. And then he dropped an episode. It wasn't this week's episode. It was last week's episode 12. That was called These 4 Lies Have Been Preventing Me from Progress, a podcast update. Basically, he just kind of, got honest. It was just a solo pod, just him talking about 20 minutes. And he just kind of got honest with the people. He was like, I've been I've been lying to myself saying I'm not good enough. I've been lying to myself saying, nobody's going to listen. And just these things have been preventing me from doing what I was my calling and what I should be doing. And that hit me right at the right time. Like I said, I've been trying to get this podcast together, but listening to that gave me that little push to just, I need to, sit down and get the recording, it kind of, resonated with me. So I just, like I said, it's my little nugget I want to share with y'all. If y'all have a project going, if you're struggling at work, if, just you kind of hit a wall and you feel like you're talking yourself out of doing something you need to be doing, I definitely recommend checking that out. That's the Culture and Legacy Podcast, episode 12 by Matthew Reed. Like I said, just a little 20 minutes of honesty of saying kind of where he was at with his podcast, and kind of, if it helped me, it might help you as well. So I recommend that for the people. But yeah, those are our recommendations. That has been our episode on Waterworld. Thank you guys for listening. This is My Movie Fix Podcast. Have a good one.